Hello everyone. It's Wednesday, December 16th. I hope you're having a good day. Christmas is almost here, and the theme of the Midweek Encouraging Word is Christmas carols, favorite stanzas. So last week we looked at one of my favorite stanzas, and that is the third stanza of Joy to the World. I want to look at another Christmas carol favorite stanza this afternoon, and that is a few lines from O Holy Night. And it goes like this: Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth. Now what does that mean? Well, what does it mean to pine for something? Well, to pine for something means to long for something that is inaccessible, something that you just can't have. Think of a young man pining for a young woman, and she said, "No, I'm not interested in you. I'm never going to date you. You don't have a chance." And he doesn't, but he's pining for her. He longs for her. So what is the world in this Christmas carol pining for? The world in sin and error. Well, you might think as you sing it, well, there must be people pining for God. But we know that's not the case. Theologically and biblically, Romans says there's no one who understands, no one who seeks God. And so the world in sin and error does not pine for God. Doesn't say, "Oh, I wish God would be here. I wish God would come." But the rest of the stanza clues us in into what the world is pining for, and that is for worth, for a sense of value, for purpose, for meaning, for some sense of importance or esteem. And of course, you can look many places in the world and see evidence of this. I think one very evident place in our culture today is social media. People live and die for likes and for followers and for views. I found myself doing that. I get home on Sunday and I look and see how many views we have on our live stream. In fact, last Sunday during the afternoon, I watched someone else's worship service, another church that was live streaming, and I said, "Hey Allison, look, I've got more views at Christ Covenant." That made me feel really puffed up. But people live and die for that sort of thing. It gives them a sense of worth, and it may be something else. It may be how much wealth they can accumulate, or their looks, or romance, or maybe being connected to some great just cause. But if you think about it, all those things are so fragile, aren't they? They can so easily disappear, and with it, worth disappears, and that's why the world is longing for it. But what does that Christmas carol say brings true worth home to the soul, a true sense of meaning and purpose? It says, when He appears. Now, what's it talking about? It's talking about the incarnation of Jesus Christ. This is a Christmas carol. And so it's saying that when Jesus Christ, the eternal Son of God, took on human flesh, then His entrance into the world brought a sense of true worth and meaning home to the souls of those who know Him and trust Him. Well, how is that expressed in the Bible? A number of ways, but let me read you a few verses. This is the encouraging word. And this is in Hebrews chapter 2. It's talking about the incarnation. And it says, "Since the children have flesh and blood," so we're the children of God. We've got flesh and blood. We're not angels. We're people living here on this earth. "Since the children have flesh and blood, He too, Jesus too, shared in their humanity, so that by His death He might destroy him who holds the power of death, that is the devil, and free those who all their lives were held in slavery by the fear of death." So this is saying that we were so precious to God that Jesus Christ became like us, took on our flesh and blood so that He could die to deliver us from the power of death and the fear of death. And if you think about it, so much of our desire for meaning and longing for meaning and purpose and importance is driven by a fear of death. When we die, we don't want to be forgotten. We want something to endure. And here we are assured that because of Christ's incarnation, we're so important that He wants to deliver us from that fear of death. It keeps going, and here's what it says. "For this reason, He, Jesus, had to be made like His brothers in every way, in order that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in service to God, and that he might make atonement for the sins of his people. So isn't that remarkable? I mean, we're called children of God. Jesus is made like us, and here we're called his brothers. He wanted to come and be like his brothers, be made like us. So why? So he could be a merciful high priest. So he could experience the suffering of life and know what life is like for us, and then offer himself as the perfect sacrifice. Listen, you can't find any greater sense of meaning, purpose, importance, esteem than in this marvelous picture of the incarnation. That Jesus Christ thought we were so valuable, so important, that he became like us so he could die and deal with death, and so that he could be our great high priest, experience life in this fallen world, and deal with our sin. And so I hope that encourages you. I mean, it's so easy, isn't it, to put our sense of worth and esteem in fragile things. But here we have, at Christmas time, something truly great, a great event, God the Son becoming man, that gives us and brings home a true sense of worth to the soul. And I hope you experience that in a fresh way this Christmas. Well, have a great weekend. I'll see you on the Lord's Day. This is going to be our Christmas Sunday, and we're going to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. Goodbye. Have a good evening.